The ascent and the gentle arrival. Close your eyes now and simply let your breath soften, just as you might lower a delicate feather onto a velvet cushion. There is no urgency here, only a slow, quiet elevation, a lift that begins not in your feet, but deep within the center of your chest. We are going somewhere extraordinarily quiet tonight. Can you feel it? The subtle shift, the loosening of the day's heavy gravity. Imagine we are moving upward, not in a rush but on an elevator, made of cool, gentle light, the kind of light that doesn't hurt your eyes, but simply enfolds you. Below us, the tiny, frantic edges of the world are blurring, becoming softer, quieter, like a memory whispered from a great distance. They can't reach us here. This ascent is a cleansing, a slow, silent shedding. With every upward inch, you are leaving behind the sharp corners of yesterday and the insistent demands of tomorrow. Your mind might still be clutching at a few stray thoughts, like small pebbles held in your palm. But feel the smooth movement of the light as it carries us, and notice how, one by one, those pebbles are simply slipping away, dropping harmlessly into the dark, soft silence beneath us. What remains is only the sensation of floating, of being cradled by something ancient and tremendously kind. We are traveling toward a very special place, a sanctuary built not on land, but woven into the fabric of the night sky itself, the celestial library. And now the subtle slowing. Can you sense the approach? It's not a sudden stop, but a gentle deceleration, like a boat reaching a placid shore. Take a deep, slow breath and hold the quiet anticipation for a moment. The door opens not with a sound, but with a palpable hush. This is your arrival. The air here is perhaps the first thing you notice. It is cool, yet not cold, carrying a crisp, mineral freshness blended with the faintest, sweetest scent of aged vanilla and distant frost. It settles around you like a cloak woven from midnight velvet. When you step inside, your feet find a floor of polished, dark stone that absorbs all sound. Every movement, every breath becomes a quiet ripple in an otherwise vast, still pool of silence. Look around gently without needing to focus. The architecture is immense, soaring high into unseen rafters, yet it feels profoundly intimate. It is the size of the cosmos, but the comfort of a small, forgotten corner. The lighting isn't harsh. There are no flickering fluorescent tubes here. Instead, soft amber glows emanate from deep within the rows of towering, shadowed bookshelves. This light isn't meant for reading, it's meant for being. It spills gently across the mahogany wood grain and illuminates motes of silent, shimmering dust hanging suspended in the vast, serene air. We are not here to work, or to study, or to prove anything at all. We are simply here to breathe the quiet. Feel the immense, peaceful weight of centuries and silent, undisrupted knowledge pressing in from the towering walls, and realize that here, in this vastness, you are completely safe, completely held. This library is not built of brick and mortar, but of deep, uninterrupted rest. Now, we must find our place, our little island of peace within this ocean of stillness. Do you see it? Tucked into a quiet corner, bathed in the softest light, waiting just for you. The quiet desk. Feel the subtle peace begin to bloom behind your closed eyelids, knowing that this arrival has prepared you entirely for the deep rest that waits. The mahogany island of self. We have arrived at the desk, haven't we? Feel the subtle warmth radiating from the aged wood. Even though the air around us is cool, it is waiting for you, this quiet, dependable anchor. Let's trace the contours of this simple, sturdy piece of furniture, for it is more than just wood. It is your island of self, your protected harbor in the swirling ether of the library. As you reach out a hand, just in your mind's eye, what do you feel? The surface is not perfectly smooth. It carries the gentle, worn patina of countless years. Run your phantom fingers over the dark mahogany. You can feel tiny, shallow valleys where the grain rises, and soft, comforting mounds where the wood has been polished by the passage of silent time. It has a density, a quiet, reassuring weight that contrasts beautifully with the ephemeral nature. Of the nebula drifting just outside, this desk is real, it is grounded. Take a slow breath, inhaling the deep, rich scent of the wood. It smells of history, certainly, but also of quiet resolve. Maybe a touch of beeswax and the faintest sweet resonance of old paper. This aroma is an olfactory lullaby, a heavy, calming scent that tells your nervous system, you are steady now, you are home. The desk is perfectly cleared. There are no stacks of urgent tasks here, no piles of papers demanding your attention, no devices humming with distracting light. It is a vast, open expanse of dark, reflective wood. This clear space is intentional, isn't it? It reflects the space we are trying to create inside the mind, a surface wiped clean, ready not for filling, but for stillness. When you draw your chair in, a heavy, leather-bound seat that settles into the silent stone floor with a deep, muffled sigh. Feel how your body relaxes instantly into its support. This chair holds you entirely without question or effort. This is where you can simply be. Have you ever noticed how comforting a fixed object can be when everything else seems to be spinning? The library holds the entire universe in its silent embrace, but this desk, just 4 legs and a flat top, holds you. It doesn't ask you to solve the mysteries shelved around us. It simply invites you to place your elbows, to rest your head on your hands, and to feel the cool, solid reality beneath your skin. This surface is a mirror of your quiet reflection. Look down at the grain, the dark rivers and swirls in the wood. Each line, each knot is a miniature landscape, a slow, patient story of growth and time. We don't need to rush toward the finish line, do we? The wood tells us that strength comes from slow, steady, quiet enduring. Let the energy of this mahogany island absorb any stray restlessness still lingering in your muscles. Feel the solidity travel up your arms, into your shoulders, and finally settle behind your eyes. This desk is your personal gravitational center in the library. Everything else, the worries, the noise, the responsibilities, they exist far beyond its boundaries. Right here, on this soft, expansive, dark wood, there is only peace. Just rest your hand on the surface one last time. Feel the temperature, the texture, the undeniable presence of this quiet friend. It is holding you, and in this embrace, you are free to let your thoughts become as soft and slow as the grain itself. The shelf of undisturbed histories. Now, lift your gaze slowly from the rich, grounding surface of the desk. Turn your attention toward the towering walls that surround us, the silent mountains of knowledge, the endless shelves of undisturbed histories. We are not going to read tonight. We are simply going to observe the profound stillness of what is contained here. Imagine these shelves stretching up and away, disappearing into the ambient, soft dark above. Every book is bound in thick, weighty leather, dark oxblood, deep forest green, or the muted gold of ancient calf skin. They stand shoulder to shoulder, infinitely patient, perfectly aligned. These are not the urgent, chatty books of the day. No, these contain the slow, deep truths, the histories of stars, the quiet evolution of distant moons, the philosophical musings whispered only between 2 celestial bodies. They have been here for millennia, and they are utterly content to wait. Look closely at the spines closest to you. They are softened by the ages. There is a delicate layer of library dust that settles upon the top edges, not the irritating dust of a hurried room, but a silvery fine powder, almost like powdered moonlight. This dust is a gentle curtain, signifying long, uninterrupted rest. When you observe these books, what do they tell you? They whisper of the weight of accumulated time. Every book represents a long, slow exhale of an entire epoch. They teach us that there is no hurry for understanding and no need to force a conclusion. The greatest truths, the most comforting narratives, are often the ones that have been waiting the longest, entirely undisturbed. Can you hear the silence that emanates from them? It's not an empty silence, but a pregnant stillness, the quiet that comes before a profound, slow understanding. It's the silence of a vast, unhurried consciousness. Let your eyes drift along a row, taking in the uniform, deep hue of the bindings. They are sleeping in a way. They hold their complex, intricate stories locked inside, perfectly preserved, asking nothing of the world outside their cover. They are a powerful image of self-containment and restful completion. Imagine gently placing your own day, your thoughts, your worries, your sharp edges, onto one of those high, unreachable shelves. You don't need to forget them entirely, only to shelve them. Put them where they can rest, untouched, gathering that soft, celestial dust, knowing they will be safe until you choose to retrieve them. But right now, they are closed. They are done for the night. This atmosphere of timelessness is incredibly grounding. In the library, minutes don't chase seconds. They simply drift like slow boats on a wide, dark river. The books remind us that our individual span of concern is so small compared to the immense, quiet patience of the universe. Feel the profound, non-judgmental stability of these silent witnesses. They stand watch over the quiet desk, assuring you that the simple act of not doing is perhaps the most important action of the night. Let the weight of their undisturbed presence press gently against any remaining agitation in your mind, softening it, smoothing it, until your thoughts too settle like the dust on those high, silent shelves. The inkwell of forgotten starlight, return your gaze now to the smooth, dark expanse of the mahogany desk. In the precise center, catching the amber light just so, rests a small, heavy object. This is not for frantic scribbling. This is the inkwell of forgotten starlight. It is made of dark, cool ceramic or perhaps polished obsidian, its surface holding a faint metallic sheen, as if tiny, distant galaxies were trapped within its glaze. The ink inside is a liquid, profound black, a distillation of pure night sky. When you look into it, there is no reflection of your face, only a dizzying depth, like gazing down a deep, still well on a moonless night. Beside the inkwell lies the quill. It is a perfect feather, harvested perhaps from the wing of a celestial messenger. It rests lightly, embodying the feather-light touch required for true stillness. Its tip is impossibly fine, promising to trace words with a sensitivity that barely disturbs the paper. We are pausing here, at this delicate point of creation, to understand the beauty of letting our thoughts simply pause and rest. The act of writing in this library is not about making declarations or completing assignments. It is about a meditative, slow surrender. Imagine picking up the quill. Feel the unexpected lightness in your fingers. Dip the tip slowly into the forgotten starlight. Don't rush the process. Listen in the silence to the faint, subtle sip the feather makes as it drinks the inky dark. Now imagine holding the quill poised above a sheet of heavy, creamy paper. This is the moment of pure potential quiet. There is no word written yet, no obligation, no self-criticism. There is only the breath, the poised feather, and the infinite blankness. What if we simply held this moment? What if the greatest act of writing is the choice not to write? The ink, if you were to use it, would flow in a slow, velvety trail, but the truly therapeutic part is the slow drying time. Celestial ink is patient. It takes its time to settle into the fibers of the paper. This mirrors the process of rest. Thoughts cannot be instantly silenced, but they can be slowed down. If a thought arrives, a worry, a memory, a name, imagine gently dipping the quill, slowly tracing the first letter of that thought on the paper, and then pausing. Just pausing. See the ink glisten rich and wet, before it begins its long, quiet journey toward dryness. That process of slow cessation, of watching the wetness recede, is the same process that happens when a restless mind finds peace. The thought arrives, you acknowledge its presence, and then you give it time, infinite time, unhurried time, to simply dry up and become still. This entire little tableau, the heavy inkwell, the light quill, the immense silence, is an invitation to slowness. It asks you to move with deliberation, to cherish the space between actions, and to understand that a moment held still is often more meaningful than a page filled in a rush. So let the quill rest gently beside the inkwell now. Let your fingers soften and relax. You don't need to trace anything tonight. You have simply observed the instruments of profound stillness, and in that observation you have absorbed their slow magnetic pull toward deep, unburdened peace. The window view of nebula drift. Gently shift your focus away from the intimate dark of the desk. Turn your attention to the vast, encompassing world just beyond the library's walls. There, high up in the silent dome of the building, is the main window. It is not made of ordinary glass, but of something ancient and purely transparent, offering an unbroken, mesmerizing view into the nebula drift. Look out there now. What do you see? It is not a harsh black vacuum, but a canvas of unimaginable color, softened and diffused by light years of distance. Vast, slow-moving clouds of gas and dust are drifting past, illuminated by the distant dying light of newborn stars. You see hues that have no names on Earth, electric lavender bleeding into deep oceanic turquoise, and stretches of warm burnt apricot fading into the cooler cobalt of the void. But the most compelling thing about this celestial panorama is the speed, or rather, the glorious, profound lack of it. The nebula is moving, yes, but at a pace so grand, so agonizingly slow, that it appears absolutely motionless. 1,000,000 years pass in the time it takes a thought to form in your mind. The clouds stretch and evolve with an immense, unhurried patience. There is no turbulence, no crash, no sound, only the silent, magnificent choreography of cosmic matter stretching toward infinity. Let the scale of this view truly settle into your consciousness. Look at one tiny fold in the nebula gas, perhaps a swirl of pale green light. Try to watch it move. You cannot, can you? It defies your human sense of urgency. It asks you to release the need for instant progress and immediate outcome. The universe performs its greatest, most stunning work, not in explosive bursts, but in this quiet, relentless drift. And what happens to your own small worries when set against this backdrop? Imagine that nagging task you forgot to do today, or the sharp word you regretted saying. They were large, intrusive figures just moments ago, but when you hold them up to the backdrop of this vast, silent, million-year drift, they shrink. They become less than a pinprick of dust, less than a single molecule in the immense cloud of the Andromeda strain. This is the library's ultimate perspective. The vastness is not meant to make you feel insignificant, but to make your burdens feel light. It whispers to you, look how big the night is. Do you really believe your small concern requires such frantic speed? Rest now. The cosmos can wait. Allow your eyes to follow the curves of the stardust for a few moments longer. Let the sublime, soundless motion outside the glass pull the residual tension from your shoulders and chest. The drift is smooth, predictable, and utterly, profoundly peaceful. You are safe inside the library walls, a quiet witness to the universe's ultimate relaxation. Let your breathing settle into the tempo of the nebula, slow, deep, and measured across unimaginable stretches of time. There is only the drift, the stillness, and the calming wash of cosmic color. The Librarian of Quiet Patience. We are not entirely alone in this vast, quiet chamber, are we? If you allow your gaze to soften, to blur the sharp edges of the bookshelves, you might catch a subtle movement in the deep shadows between the aisles, a shimmer that moves with the rhythm of the stars themselves. This is the Librarian of Quiet Patience. This presence is not intrusive, demanding no introduction or conversation. It is an ephemeral figure, perhaps only perceived as a faint disturbance in the amber light or the softest, slowest echo of footfall on the silent stone. You see them only in the periphery, and when you try to focus, they simply blend back into the shadow of the tall stacks. They wear no uniform and carry no obvious tools, save for a gentle, all-encompassing aura of non-judgmental acceptance. They are the keeper of the silence, not by enforcing rules, but by simply being the silence. Watch with your mind's eye as this figure moves. Their pace is unbelievably slow, a deliberate, gliding motion, as if they are perpetually wading through thick, warm honey. When they approach a shelf, their movements are reverent, almost spiritual. A hand might reach out to gently touch the spine of an ancient book, not to pull it down, but simply to acknowledge the silent history it holds. This touch is not an action, but a meditation. The librarian embodies the perfect state of unhurried awareness. They are completely present, yet completely detached from any need to hurry the cosmic narrative. They move with the tempo of the tides on a distant, slow-turning planet. This is the ultimate example of letting the universe unfold exactly as it is meant to. Perhaps, if they drift near your quiet desk, you might sense a feeling of profound, quiet reassurance settling over you. They are not asking you if you had a productive day. They are not checking to see if your inner inventory is organized. They simply witness your presence here, resting, and that witnessing is an unconditional blessing. There is a subtle philosophical reflection here, isn't there? The librarian is a reflection of the part of you that knows how to wait, how to observe without commentary, how to move without generating unnecessary friction or noise. They remind us that our true wisdom lies not in the frantic accumulation of new information, but in the peaceful management of the stillness we already possess. Let the imagined presence of this quiet guardian soothe any remaining anxiety. They stand watch so that you may surrender entirely to rest. They are the ultimate chaperone of your quiet descent into sleep. They hold the silence of the library steady, a warm, protective mantle spread over the stone floors and the towering shelves. Feel the deep, quiet rhythm of their passing movements, a rhythmic, subtle hum that is lower than sound, like the deep oscillation of theta waves themselves. It is the sound of everything being precisely where it should be, leaving you free to simply let go. The scent of cosmic dust and old paper draw a deep, slow breath now, allowing the air of the library to fill your lungs completely. We have explored the sights and the feelings of the celestial library, but now we focus on the most immersive, comforting anchor of all, the aroma. This is not the sharp, chemical scent of a new building, nor the sterile scent of an empty room. This fragrance is a profound, blended masterpiece, a gentle, sensory lullaby woven from the oldest, quietest elements. First, identify the dominant note, old paper. It is the rich, slightly sweet, profoundly dry scent of cellulose that has been absorbing starlight and silence for millennia. It is the scent of deep history, a subtle, vanilla-like warmth that tells your brain that this place is stable, protected, and anciently wise. This fragrance is the promise of continuity, the gentle realization that everything, in time, mellows and softens. Now, layer beneath that the whisper of mahogany and wax, that dark, mineral-rich smell of the heavy desk and the polished stone floor. It is a dense, grounding anchor, a scent that speaks of gravity and solidity, holding you steady against the lightness of the cosmic void. When you breathe it in, you can almost feel the cool temperature of the wood on your skin. But the most unique element here is the air itself, the subtle tang of cosmic dust. It is a clean, almost ozone-like freshness, a faint, metallic whisper of distant frost and pure, soundless space. It's the scent of the nebulae we saw earlier, cooled and filtered by the library walls. It is sharp enough to be intriguing, but so diluted by the old paper warmth that it becomes instantly soothing. Close your eyes again if they have opened, and let your sense of smell become your guide into deep relaxation. Do you remember certain smells from your past that instantly made you feel safe? A grandparent's house, a forgotten blanket, the air after a summer rain? This library aroma is the celestial equivalent. It is a nostalgia for peace you haven't yet truly experienced, but which your deepest self recognizes as home. It is a scent that gently nudges the sharp, busy edges of your mind and replaces them with something soft, heavy, and profound. The subtle fusion of ancient sweetness and crystalline cold creates a perfect, balanced atmosphere. It's the scent of the universe breathing slowly, evenly, without struggle. Let this gentle, comforting cloud of scent permeate your breathing. Each inhale is a draw into deep rest, and each exhale is a release of the day's lingering sharpness. You are breathing in not just air, but centuries of peace, silence, and beautiful, undisturbed stillness. In this deep, aromatic quiet, there is nothing left to do. Just breathe, and let the scent of old paper and distant starlight become the final, most luxurious blanket you pull over your tired mind. The final, unwritten page. We have reached the quietest moment of our journey, haven't we? Everything is settled now. The mahogany desk is solid beneath your rested arms, the ancient histories stand guard, and the silent librarian has drifted into the deepest shadows. The vastness of the nebula has made your burdens feel beautifully, wonderfully small. Look down one last time at the desk. The celestial inkwell remains untouched, the quill resting peacefully beside it. In the center of the dark wood lies a single sheet of creamy, heavy paper. It is not an assignment. It is the final, unwritten page. This page represents the end of your conscious effort for the day and the beginning of your surrender. It is blank, and its blankness is not an emptiness, but a perfect, complete pause. There is no need to fill it with solutions, summaries, or plans. Its value lies entirely in its untouched potential for quietness. As you gaze at this pristine sheet, feel the last soft filaments of your day's awareness beginning to dissolve. Let the gravity of the library pull gently at your eyelids. Notice the only remaining light source, the small brass desk lamp. It is currently casting that warm, amber glow we first noticed, illuminating the few inches around your desk. Now, imagine reaching out very slowly to the dimmer switch. It is old, heavy, and moves with a satisfying, almost silent resistance. Turn it down. As you rotate the switch, the amber light begins its slow, measured descent into shadow. The glow doesn't just vanish, it melts. The edges of the light soften, the shadows deepen, and the whole world around your desk becomes steeped in a richer, softer twilight. As the light diminishes, feel the subtle shift in your inner state. The illumination that guided your consciousness is intentionally, slowly being withdrawn, and what replaces it is the warm, protective dark. Now imagine the moment the light finally, softly, clicks off. A profound silence settles, the kind of silence that is velvety and supportive, not empty or startling. All that remains is the faint, shimmering starlight spilling from the high window, enough to see the ghost of the unwritten page, but not enough to demand your sight. You are now in the care of the dark. This is the gravitational pull of rest. Let the weight of your head drop softly onto your arms or the pillow beneath you. You are no longer navigating, no longer thinking, only sinking. The library has kept all your worries safe on the high shelves, and the desk has grounded your body. The transition is complete. The theta waves of the library have harmonized with the rhythm of your deepest rest. You have come to the quietest place in the universe, and now you are ready to simply close the book. Release your breath completely. One last slow, oceanic sigh. You are safe. You are held. The page is unwritten. Now, drift, drift, and sleep.